And today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to do real estate photography. So stick around. Hi there, I'm Peter Forsgaard, an Olympus visionary from Helsinki, Finland. And before we start to talk about real estate photography and the 5 tips I'm going to give you, if you're new here and have not subscribed yet to my channel, please consider to do so. My channel is all about you getting to be a better photographer. And do not forget to hit that bell also so you get notified when there is a new video online. I post 2 videos a week, usually on Tuesdays and on Fridays. I am in this empty apartment, which is a bit unusual for a real estate photography. But this time, that's what it is, and you have to consider that you don't have any details and you don't have any decorations to shoot. The only thing you need to do is to see what the space looks like. The equipment I'm using today is the EM1X, and I have a 8mm fisheye lens, which I made a video last Tuesday. So if you want to check it out, please watch it after this video, where I tested on this photo shoot the fisheye lens and how it performs. Tip number 1 is use a tripod. In real estate photography, it's very important that all the lines are really straight. And with Olympus cameras, you can use the level gauge on your LCD and EVF to see that the camera is absolutely straight in every way. And to avoid the camera shake, use the cable release or use the app as a so-called cable release, or then you could use the self timer. And tip number 2, use a wide-angle lens. Usually in real estate photography, you need to make an impression with the photographs that the space that you're photographing is bigger than actually it is. And that's why wide-angle lens can be very useful for that. It makes the place look bigger. But if you don't have a wide enough angle, then you might want to use the panorama method, which is taking consecutive images, overlapping each other, and then do the panorama in post. Usually the image quality is not my main concern, but real estate photography makes a bit of a difference on that. You really need a very good lenses because you want the images to be really sharp. Blurry corners in pictures of interiors don't look very nice. It needs to be sharp. Olympus has 2 very good wide-angle lenses for real estate photography. One of my favorite for that is the 7-14mm f2.8 Pro zoom lens. And then of course it's the fisheye. And especially when using the fisheye compensation that works on the EM1X and the EM1 Mark II cameras. With the EM1 Mark II camera, you need to have the latest firmware to have the fisheye compensation available in your camera. But of course the other wide-angle lenses like the 12mm f2.8 lens could be used in real estate photography. No problem with that. But you might want to need a bit wider than the 12mm can deliver. So that's why I recommend these 2 lenses for real estate photography. And then you might want to use exposure bracketing. As you can see, you have natural light coming from the windows, and if you have really big windows, there might be a lot of light. But then we have this corner, the corridor and the kitchen, which has totally different kinds of lighting. So the mix of lighting, also the intensity of lighting is totally different. The exposure on this side is totally different compared to this side. And if you want to have a really balanced exposure on your real estate images, then you need to bracket your exposures. You could use HDR also. What it does is that in camera you can bracket the shots automatically, and the camera can produce you a HDR image if you want. That's a really good option also, and to be considered. But then of course, if you do image or exposure bracketing, you will need to do some exposure blending in post. And if you don't know what that is, then just go into YouTube, or you already are in YouTube, but anyways, go and check out and search for exposure blending. There are lots and lots of good tutorials on that. But remember, exposure bracketing. You can also bracket the white balance. As you can see, the lights over there, they are a bit yellow, and then you have white light, which is of course a bit overexposed coming from the windows. Combining those, you need to use some white balance blending. It works the same way as exposure blending. And then I have the tip number 5, and don't go away after that tip because there's going to be an extra tip after that. And then the tip number 5. Always check your composition very carefully. You don't want any distracting elements in the edges of your image. So at least 3 times you should check your composition. And then after you've taken the image, check it out from the LCD. Chimping is sometimes really a good thing. Well, what about the images that I made in this apartment? Of course, as I said, it was not very hard to make images on this apartment because it was empty. And there was no problem using a flash, for example, to help to compensate on the different levels of light that this apartment has, which is actually only natural light, and then of course the light in the kitchen, as you can see, as I mentioned many times. And I used flashes on this. I have the FL700 VR, the radio control flash from Olympus, and then I also had the controller unit and the receiver, and I had my 900, the FL900 on that, so that I could have 2 flashes, and I did bounce them from the walls so that it will be more even, the light, so there won't be any really big highlights. The problem with an empty apartment, as you can see, are the flares, or that's not a flare, it's a reflection on the floor, because it's a very shiny wooden floor on this apartment. The apartment, it's not very big, so I needed to have a really wide angle to make the images so that the apartment looks really big. And of course, the images of the sauna is very important. After all, we're in Finland. And then the promised extra tip. Planning is the key. Always plan your interior shots, or actually no matter what you are going to make images of, especially if you are going to sell them and it's a gig that somebody's assigned you to do, please do a very good planning on your shot. And of course, in planning also you have to consider the direction of the light. Where is the sun shining into the building or into the house or into the apartment? Because if it's a very bright sunlight, it might be almost impossible to make images indoors. So the weather today is very good for indoor photography, where you need the light come inside from the windows, because there is a big cloud covering the sun. So there's a biggest softbox in the world right now, so it's perfect weather. But hey, this was video about real estate photography, and thanks for watching, and bye for now.